So we had a business driver, a commercial driver. We had to introduce this legislation, and it was a big lever of engagement in the organisation. So we used the Working Time Directive as a change vehicle to introduce the legislation, lift engagement and successfully introduce it. And at that time, because a lot of organisations didn't know which way to go with it, it then became an example of best practice, but lifted engagement in the sector. That then went on to feed into, again, it's quite a leading edge piece of research at that time. Has anybody heard of causal pathways? Yeah. So the causal pathway is this principle that engaged, satisfied staff deliver better service, which delivers better profitability. So there's a connection, there's a causal connection. And in Sainsbury's, because we had such a big data set, we actually were able to build up a financial model between, it was in those days it was called satisfaction, how people felt, the service that you gave, and the profit outcome. And we built up a working model to demonstrate that a 0.5 shift in satisfaction would deliver this profitability. So, why do I share that with you? I'm going to fast forward into Waterstones and tell you what happened there. So, Waterstones at that time, as Jules said, was part of the HMV group. A very powerful brand. I went along and the day after I joined, discovered that the managing director who had employed me had been exited. Has anybody ever taken a job where you haven't done your research properly when you land in an organisation? So I get there to discover, although it's a very powerful brand, actually it's not profitable at all. And the group are about to flog it. And guess what else isn't very good? Engagement. Levels of engagement in the organisation. And because of all the work that I'd become involved in at Sainsbury's, I actually become a bit of a guru on opinion surveys. So I went into Waterstones, same induction story, and I said two things. First of all, could you find me the HR strategy? Guess what they did? They laughed. And the second thing was, I said, can I have a look at the opinion survey results? And they said, why do you want to look at them? They're in that drawer where everybody likes to ignore them. Then I go into social housing. That was a shock. That was a shock. Awesome people, actually, in Waterstones. Very smart, very cool people. Same in social housing. People who've devoted their entire lives to adding value back to society. But guess what? And there is a trend emerging here. Actually, it wasn't doing so well. And guess where engagement was? On the floor. Okay. So the journey at Circle is about the transformation. But the theme running through all of this is exactly the same. It's about creating the alchemy of engaged staff to deliver incredible outcomes. Right, are you ready for this? I have to now log into my phone to see how long I've been rabbiting on for. What do you reckon? Oh, not bad, 9 minutes. Okay, so, anybody seen this before? I'm so glad because I made it up. I could do the pointer. So we're going to go left to right, and just for kind of, you know, amusement, if you imagine it's a plumbing model, and here's the game. The game is to get as much water from the left over to the right hand side, and this is just an organisational slice of looking at that causal pathway, of looking at those connections. So your people, your human beings come in at this end, and at the end of the causal pathway, we've got an increase in profitability. Or in housing, we measured social return on investment. So positive outcomes at the other end. So this can be used as a diagnostic tool. And when you've got 101 things to do, and a restricted budget, it can help you at an organisation level zoom in where you're going to get the biggest return on your money, whether that's driving efficiency or cranking up levels of engagement. It can just give you a different perspective.